Always have a goal to strive after. In this lifetime, we're always changing, and sometimes we hit those walls, and it's kind of like, oh, it's because I don't know where I'm going. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I think you just have to take it day by day, delegate, and tell people what you're going through so they can help you. When I first opened this business, I was diving into the numbers, how is this? And I was like, this is gonna be really hard. I never thought about this type of business. So that was hard for me. I'm like, how does anyone, did anyone else do this? So I think that was one of my biggest struggles is I don't really know anyone else that's done this before. But
Welcome to another episode of the A1 Experience. I'm here with my friend Chelsea Waitkus. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is my first podcast, so yeah. I'm ecstatic.
So thank you for being with us. Me and Chelsea go back to UNLV where we had, I think, an anthropology class. As I would drive along the 215 here in Las Vegas, I would always see this dance studio on the 215. It's you can't miss it. And I remember seeing it on her bio. Turns out Chelsea is one of the owners of the Millennium Dance Complex, a dance studio here in Las Vegas. It hosts a community filled with love, growth, and dance. Like I said, she's a UNLV alumni involved in dance during her tenure there. It's awesome to see you kind of bring it full circle, and I'm looking forward to diving into that today.
Yes.
So Chelsea, for those that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so obviously I'm a dancer, and I went to UNLV for business. So actually, I started late as a dancer. Most of them start at age 3, but I started when I was 12, which doesn't seem late. It doesn't seem late, but in the dance world, it can be considered late. So yeah, I started dancing, and I was kind of wondering if this was going to be my thing. I came from soccer, so very not tomboy, but just a different sport. And I loved it. And my mom she was so excited. She's like, oh my God, my daughter's finally a dancer. And I did competition and then eventually moved into the dance team world. And that's how I got to do the dance team at UNLV.
Okay.
And I was there for 4 years, and I loved every part of it. It was a very high competitive sport. You can look us up. We won nationals my sophomore year.
Wow.
So it was a huge accomplishment. Yeah. And then after I graduated, believe it or not, there wasn't a lot of places for adults to dance in Vegas, which is super surprising. So I pitched this idea to my mom, and I was like, we have to open a dance studio for adults. It just feels weird that I've been dancing my whole life pretty much, and there's only a few classes that I can take throughout the week. And I would just love to do this. Obviously I love business and I love dance. I would love to try this opportunity and bring it to Vegas. And she was like, no, you're not doing this. I don't think it's going to really succeed. You're going to have to put a lot of time and effort, blah, 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 blah. And so eventually she bought in, and I was so excited, a little nervous because I'm fresh out of college and I've never opened a dance studio or a business. 2015.
2015, okay.
Yeah. So I've never done any of those things before, but I'm definitely, if I set my mind to something, I'm going to put my best effort forward. So yeah, so I've been managing Millennium for 7 years now. I'm can I do math? 7 years.
Yeah.
And I take class there, and I'm just expanding it pretty much the whole time. We're still growing.
Yeah, it's awesome because you started right after, or literally we started in business around the same time.
Yes.
I graduated around the same time as you. I think I'm a little bit older than you, so I think I went to school a little bit longer than you, but we started around the same time. You overcome, a few things like COVID, which we'll talk about.
Yes.
And it's really cool to see where you've taken it. Mm-hmm. Now you've stepped into motherhood as well, with two boys.
2 boys.
2 boys.
Yep.
And so that's incredible. We were talking about that before we got on air. So you said that I want to know what got you interested in dance. So you said you were playing soccer first, and then you got into, did your mom want you to get into dance?
My mom always wanted me to get into dance.
Okay.
So I'm a millennial. We did not have social media. We got a paper advertisement in the mail That makes you sound so old. A paper advertisement in the mail that there was a dance studio opening up down the street. And my friend that lived in our neighborhood was like, hey, we should try a class. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And, my mom was like, hey, let's try this place. So that's kind of how I started. And I just did one class and I fell in love. My mom and my whole family are kind of musical anyways. So that's just a big part of my upbringing is just dancing in the kitchen, that kind of stuff. But this was actual instruction and being in class.
Got it.
So that's kind of how I got into it.
Got it. Do you need any sort of natural rhythm to be in dance, or it's this just ain't for you,
Honestly,
have you ever turned somebody down?
No. Never. No. If you're willing to learn, anybody can learn how to dance. Anyone can do it. Even if you want to freestyle, there is no right or wrong. As humans, even if you go back in the day, people used to just move their bodies to any type of rhythm. And that's dancing. You don't have to learn the choreography that you see on TikTok or any of the fads that you see online. Anyone can dance. You just need to be able to move your body and just listen to music and just do what you feel you need to do. But if you go into our studio, it can be super intimidating and people are like, where do I start? So we actually just started a beginner series.
Okay. Because
as my studio has been growing, the students have been growing too. And so it looks intimidating. If you've never danced before, it is intimidating. So we kind of needed this 6-week beginner series for people to be like, I know nothing. Where do I start? How do I listen to music? And that's exactly what it is. And if you have a great instructor, you will be able to dance, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's just like anything else. You have to learn the terminology. You have to learn music theory is a huge part of dancing. And yeah, anyone can do it.
What kind of classes do you guys offer?
So it's mostly commercial based. That's the type of dance that we're offering. So that could be jazz, contemporary, ballet, tap, hip hop. We do have some niche styles that we'll put into the schedule every now and then, like Afro, maybe a popping class, something like that, but mostly choreography classes.
Okay. I didn't mention this at the beginning. I probably should have, but you are managing or directly in charge of about 50 people.
Yes.
And that's insane. So
when you were counting, I was like, please don't count for me.
Yeah.
I don't need to know that metric.
No. So that's incredible because I'm roughly have about 20 staff. You're dealing with 50.
Yeah.
So talk about that. It's been 7 years. Did you anticipate this or?
Yeah. So with dance, not everyone's a full-time employee. So we have people that can teach for an hour a week. So our instructors, there's about 30 of them, and then we'll have about 5 substitutes that will come in when needed. So with those ones, they're scheduled to teach their class and they go in and stuff like that. It is overwhelming because
It's a lot of payroll,
Yes, yes. And everyone gets paid differently too, which is so fun. It's not like, hey, here's your salary. It's based off of performance.
Really?
Yes. So
I've seen those TikToks where it's you're paid off your performance or it's that girl did.
I've seen some really funny ones. Yeah. Yeah, so it does get a little complicated, but that's just how our business is set up. So we do have a lot of people, and it's because we're offering so many different styles, and not every person can teach a specific style. So, and I want the best people teaching at the studio.
Right.
So that's where the numbers kind of accumulate. But we have about, right now I'm not really sure what the number is, but I think we have 45 classes a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many students you guys have?
I can't even tell you. how many students.
That's a good problem to have.
And I know it's a good problem to have. But no, the reason why is it's because we have a drop-in studio. Okay. So if you think about a gym, obviously they know how many members they have. But for us, and you were just going in and out, right? That's how it is. It's a dance studio, but it's very drop-in like. So you could get somebody that came in for the weekend And we're like taking 4 classes and then I'm like, bye. I don't know when I'm ever going to see you. So, and I'm such an analytical person. When I first opened this business, I was like diving into the numbers. Like, how is this? And I was like, this is going to be really hard. Like, I never thought about this type of business. Like, I don't know. We have like a core amount of people that like come day and night. I call them like my professional hobbyists. Like this is like their lifestyle and they take class every week. But we do get a lot of people that are from out of town. And you know, Vegas is super transient city. So somebody may live here for like 6 months and then they're gone. So I can't even tell you how many students we have, which is it's sad.
Yeah.
I know a lot of their names. I just don't know the number.
Also, being in Vegas is cool that probably you get a lot of probably famous people that come into town and they just need a studio. Possibly.
Yeah, we do. Like Donnie Osmond rents from us. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. I'm sure. No, he posted on his Instagram. It's
okay.
fine.
It's good.
I'm like, did I sign anything?
We can cut that out if we need to.
No. He actually posted on his Instagram, so I know that people know that he was there. But yeah, Donnie Osmond, he's my favorite.
Awesome.
He rehearses at the studio. A few years ago, it was actually during COVID, we had BTS come through.
Okay.
Which was wild. I have never had so many team members or security people in the studio. It was crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh. And our studio was featured on their documentary, I believe. That's on Disney Plus.
Wow.
So just to give you a little background, Millennium, the brand, because we are a franchise, it's been around for 30 years.
Okay.
So in the dance industry, it is very well known.
Okay.
And especially within that realm of like artists, music artists, they would rehearse.
Are you the only one in Las Vegas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would rehearse at the original location in LA. So if they have people that are in their camp that know Millennium, and they're in Vegas, that's how they found us, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Are you the only one that can open in Las Vegas?
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
You have plans on expanding, maybe getting another location?
A few people have asked me, but honestly, I don't even know if my instructors would be able to teach more than they already do because they're professional dancers or they have jobs.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like begging them. I'm like, please stay. Yeah. Please teach. And there obviously would be more teachers that would come up, but as of right now, I haven't.
Let me ask you this, because I know what it takes I know how hard it is to keep top-tier talent, to keep top instructors, to keep top, team members, right?
Yes.
Especially in this competitive landscape. You've probably seen a lot of competition come after you, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah.
What have you done to keep the best instructors on your team, the best team members, what kind of culture, do you attribute that to culture? What do you attribute that to?
100% it's a culture.
Okay.
My business partner, who is my mom, she's in human resources. So, human resources, they're dealing with culture all the time. And so she was really adamant about having that as one of our foundations for the studio or the business in general. And so any instructor that teaches at the studio, we have an interview with them, which, to be honest, is not common, which is mind-blowing to me because, when you're hiring somebody for a job, even if they are an independent contractor, you want to sit in front of them and actually know what their goals are and, who they are.
Yeah.
They're coming into your business, so you want to know and feel them out, what's their vibe. So we have interviews with everyone that's on our staff. Even our work studies, who I told you, they do work for an exchange. So that's the first foundation, is that we know everyone that works at the studio. There's nobody that's new, and unless it's a last minute substitution, that could be it.
You don't walk in and be like, who's this guy?
Yeah, no. Yeah. So, knowing who's representing your studio is super important. And then we just keep open communication, I think, is a huge thing, especially when it comes to your culture. If somebody has an issue and they don't feel comfortable coming to you, that's an issue. That's a problem.
Right.
So for the ones that are, professional dancers, I want to make sure that they feel not even just for the professionals, all of them, that they can come and talk to me. even though I'm not physically there right now because I'm like deep in motherhood, they can call me, they can text me, and I'm reachable. Like I'm still, like my business is still a huge part of my life. And then, I'm fortunate because Millennium is a really well-known brand, and it's a good thing to have on their resume.
Right.
So that for them is really important, and they get opportunities being a teacher at my studio.
Got it.
That could be a choreography gig. That could be, I don't know, just like a reputation thing. I mean, I would like to say that they would stay because of me.
Yeah, it's a combination of things, right?
But it's a combination of things. And, we do staff meetings and everyone's heard. And I don't know if a lot of dance studios do that. I've heard that they don't.
Right.
But I'm not there, so I don't know. But we do staff meetings, and we make sure that people have a chance to voice if there's anything of concern or even celebrate things.
Right.
So
recognition, things like that.
Yeah.
You probably also got to be okay with like losing top talent, especially if it's something that they want to pursue or do.
Yeah.
And a lot of leaders aren't like that, and it's like so backwards to me. Like, why wouldn't you want somebody that's given you a year or 2 years to blossom and to go chase what they want, and without making them feel bad about it,
Yeah, that is a hard part. It really is. Well, with my industry too, people take contracts. So, it may not be leaving because they're going to go to my competitor. They're leaving because they booked a show for Usher, which is like fantastic. Like, congratulations.
Right.
And that opportunity may only come around like one time. So, yeah, my like foundation as like the owner and director is like just stay flexible, and that's just how our industry is, and that makes it hard to plan a lot of things. So because I'm currently planning something new for our business, a new revenue stream, and let me tell you, it has been so hard for me to map it out because I'm like, are they going to be here in 2 months? Like, so it makes it fun for sure.
Yeah. Talk about COVID. I mean, I don't think you were able to do, like, how did you adapt during COVID? You probably weren't able to have people in person.
It was the worst time of my life.
Yeah, but you got through it.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could cry thinking about it.
I'm just kidding.
I could cry thinking about it. It was like the worst thing ever. I mean, any service-based business where you rely on like face-to-face, I'm sure all of them went through like the biggest hiccup ever. But yeah, so I think we were closed for like 2 months. We couldn't do anything. And, as any business owner did, I tried to, steer my ship in a way that, how are we going to be able to make money? I tried to do online classes, and I saw that my students didn't want to learn online.
Right.
They're there for the community. They're there for the experience, like seeing people exchange that energy. And just when you have it online, it's not there. But it's great because a lot of the dance studios actually still do that. And it's fantastic for dancers that maybe live in like the Midwest or a small country in like, I don't know, Italy, and they can't travel to the main city, and they get to still learn how to dance, But for my community, they want to be in person. I actually lost money off of trying to do online classes. And I was like, well, at least we're trying,
Did you pause memberships, or like, what did you have to do to?
So we don't have memberships.
Oh, okay.
It's all drop-ins.
It's all drop-ins. Okay,
yeah.
Wow.
So,
okay.
So it's not an automatic membership, I should say. So, like a punch card situation where you can like buy 5 or 10.
Right. Then it's discounted,
but it's just
higher than
but it's not an auto pay.
Got it.
So it's not a membership, but. Yeah, so I had to like put all of that on hold, obviously, and then extend it whenever we would be able to open. And then when we were able to open, like our capacity just was like so minimum. It was not fun. And during that time, though, we sold out of every class. Every class was packed because I think our minimum was like 15 people in a class. So I'm so thankful for the dancers that came during that time because we were able to like make it through.
Yeah. Was that the toughest part of your entrepreneurial journey? Was it COVID?
This far, yes.
Okay, because that was another question I had.
Yes, that it was the toughest just because I mean everyone like you couldn't go to somebody for advice. We've never been through anything like this.
Yeah. For me, I was fortunate. We're essential. So we were like, and we're sales. Like we're, over the phone calling people, and you still need insurance by law.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was interested to see how you navigated that.
Yeah, but to be honest, like a lot of our students were like, thank goodness you're open. Like I need to release my stress. And they're like, you guys are essential, which was very like, it like made me cry.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, okay, let's just keep going, So it was essential to everyone that they continue.
I know, it's just the government was like, this is essential and that's not essential.
I know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Being the owner and operator, what have been your struggles?
Delegating is a huge thing for me. And I think mostly...
You have 5 managers.
Yes.
Okay.
But let me tell you this. So when I first opened, I'm not joking, I worked like from 8 a.m. to like 11 o'clock at night. I was in that building. And I didn't have managers until COVID. Honestly, until I had children, I did not have like a consistent manager. I only had like on-call managers if I was sick or if I was going on vacation. I don't recommend that to anybody.
Yeah.
But I think me being in there that much is what helped play a huge role in our culture because I was the main contact for everything. And I was actually able to figure out how my business was going to run.
That's good.
So I know how to do every role in my business, and I still do a lot of it too. So I would say like delegating off a lot of those things was really hard for me. I am not a good manager. I'm not.
You're a good leader.
I'm a good leader, okay? So like even when I train, I'm not the best. Like, and it's just because I'm like, oh, I have to delegate all this off. And I'm getting better at it. I'm definitely getting better at it, but that has been like one of my biggest like struggles for me.
Yeah. I love that you had to be in the weeds in like every single position of your business so that way you know what to expect. Like you do need to know a little bit of everything to be able to know what to expect at a high level.
Yes.
What you were saying that I think one of my best friends, he owned a bunch of Allstates and then he sold them and he owns a bunch of Subways now. And during the opening of some of these Subways, like he's back there making sandwiches, getting like strange looks from like people that are helping him. Like he'll say that like customers look at him like this loser must have not went to school or and so he's getting all these like looks from his customers.
That's so funny.
But it was but he knew what to expect from from the ground up.
I mean, I still actually this morning I was mopping the floors at my studio and we had an audition yesterday. So you'll never see me not doing anything. Like, I am so in my business.
You have an OCD, like when you walk through your place, you just see something on the ground.
Yes, 100%. My mom is even worse than me.
Really?
But yeah, so I still do quite a bit. But yesterday we had an audition and, I've got my 2 kids. But I'm like the definition of chaos. Like one kid's running this way, I've got the other kid on my stomach. And she was asking me a question and then my manager goes, oh, well, you can ask her, like, she's actually the owner. And I'm like, hi. My hair is like crazy. I'm like, hi, how can I help you? But, sometimes the owners just, you got to kind of be in a camouflage because then you can like see what's working, what's not working. It's good for you sometimes. Mm-hmm. You don't want to stay there too long because like, again, you can't scale and you can't do a lot of the things you need to do. But it's good every now and then to be in the ground. Yeah.
It's funny. It's like the littlest things will set me off. Like, if I see like a piece of trash or like right before you got here, Randall saw this where like I saw somebody had spilled their coffee. So you saw like the dried up coffee marks on the ground. And I'm just like I need to clean that because if I don't like nobody else is going to do it. And also like it's also like if I don't teach my team to do this, then where else are they going to get sloppy? Like in their processes. Like, so yeah. So I want you to go back. You're 1 month away from opening your studio. What's going through your mind?
Are you talking about like when I first opened?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So I actually was still working at another job before I opened the studio. I worked at a local a men's clothing called Stitched.
Okay. Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, yeah. I love those people. I had a great time working there. So I was working over there, and we were doing all the construction. I think we ended up doing everything within like 6 months. So it was like super fast because, you know, we have special floors and everything for dance. But yeah, it was just like getting your software all fixed up because we use MindBody, which is like a software that most gyms use. Just getting my software, our website, and just finalizing like the class schedule. But to be honest, like when we first opened, I kept it very minimal. I think we had like 5 classes a day, you know, each day. And I was growing it as we were opened. But we had like a pretty good grand opening day, and it was free classes for anyone. And this is actually really sweet. One of my managers, she doesn't work with me anymore, actually. She was like, I took work off to go to that free dance day. And I'm like, really? So like, it was a good promotion to be like, hey, we're here, we're open, like, come try it out, take a class, and, you know, just let people try it out.
Yeah. I want you to talk about social media. Like, has that helped? Like, how have you used that to help your business? Has it not really played a factor?
I have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Yeah, I think we all do. As social as I am, I can't stand it.
Oh my
half the time,
goodness. Yeah, so you know what? I could be better at it, let's be honest. It is very difficult with our industry because we use music. And with copywriting and everything like that, it is difficult.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You can't post it even if it's in the background? Like, you could post reels right now.
Yes, you can do reels, but you have a business account on Instagram, right?
Yes. Well, we don't really use it. I use mainly my personal one.
See?
But my personal is a business, though.
Yeah, so with business accounts, you can only use royalty-free music. You can't, like, use Beyonce's music. You don't have access to it on Instagram. So, like, that makes it difficult because who wants to listen to
the Kids Bop version?
You know, like, it's just like, oh, this is, like, super cheesy. And, like, we're dancing. Like, this is advertisement. So that makes it very difficult. But, you know, we post on our Instagram every day, mostly in the stories. We post, like, a 15-minute clip of every class at night. So it's a great way for us to be like, hey, this is what's happening at the studio tonight. Like, take a look. And people can be like, oh, let me try that next week. So that's really been helpful for people to try new classes. They get a little clip to see what class is like. I mean, it could be intimidating, though, because if they're coming at the end of class, you're like, did they all just learn that? Or did they know it beforehand? So, yeah, we post on our Instagram. I would say, like, the actual feed, like, page could be better. You know, like, we haven't really dived into into reels. We have a few of them.
But that's what helps you get attention, right? Like,
yes.
Locally, and creates that FOMO. It's like, I want to go check that class out.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you know what? We could be better at it. I think that it's just a beast. Because if you think about it, I have 30 instructors. And to highlight all 30 of them equally, I would have to be posting like 3 or 4 times a day. And this becomes like a full-time position. Yeah. And where I am at in my life, I'm like, I cannot take another person right now. Yeah. So we just do what we need to do. And I also make this like super, like, anyone that asks me, like, you should post more, you should do this. And, you know, they're giving me my 2 cents. Yeah. I'm like, what is really important is what's going on here at the studio. Yeah. And that we're providing great service. Because word of mouth has been chef's kiss for us. Yeah. And that's where our culture speaks way louder than what social media can put out there. And I personally don't even post about my studio either, which is like not good. But everyone knows me. And like, if you were to ask any student, they're like, oh, do you know Chelsea? Like, they actually know me. Yeah. And so word of mouth is like where we're at for advertising. But
people forget that that's the most important part.
It really is. And it's like you spend all this time like, oh, was it edited? Did I post it at the right time? Da-da-da-da-da. And instead I'm like, hey, let's all meet up, you know? Like, that's just a lot more important. And my studio is very community-based. Like, I know a lot of people's names. They know my names. Like, so I have that touch that's where I like really play
Yeah.
my attention to.
It sounds like you just need to do what I did recently. And, you know, Randall is my director of marketing now. So, like, he's helping me with all the stuff that I literally don't know how I did before. And I have, like,
Yeah.
a pretty good handle of social media, but I don't know how I was posting the way, at the level I was posting before. It was just all over the place. And
Yeah.
now that he's here, he's helping me like post on YouTube, post on
It
TikTok,
helps.
and it's like all this, like so many platforms.
It's
And so,
definitely a full-time job.
yes, it's
It is a
becoming one.
full-time
Yeah,
job. Yeah, and
But-
you know what? I play a
but
lot
you
of.
got to take care of the main thing.
Yes, yeah, you do have to take care of, like, especially if you're a service-based business. Like, you need to be providing your service and making sure your customers are having a good time. And then, you know, if you want to advertise on social media, that's
You
next.
can't get all that attention and then bring it to a shit show.
Yeah, like
know.
if you were gonna go viral and everyone wanted to show up to your studio and it's like not operating very well, like you forgot to call people back and like then it wouldn't have really been worth it, because are they gonna even return back if you
Right.
didn't get the service that they wanted?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a full-time job, and I definitely like that's like our next step is that we need to kind of hone in on that. A lot of people think we should have a reality TV show because
Really?
it's really entertaining.
YouTube's a powerful platform.
I know.
If there's anyone that you should be on, it's probably just YouTube.
I've tried to start a YouTube so many times. I have one of my managers, Kelly, filmed me. I think I was like 8 months pregnant. I'm like, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. And I'm like filming, never posted it. And I'm
Really?
like,
The hardest part is posting it. Like,
Yeah.
I delayed my YouTube channel I had goals where I wrote down like 2014, like start a YouTube channel, or no, probably 2015. Like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I didn't start until 2020. And it took my wife, like, we made these like spoofs, like, it was like a reality series. It was like 3 episodes. It's like
okay.
Allstate Mayhem versus Jake from State Farm. And my wife's like, you should just post it on YouTube. And so I'm like, all right. So I post it and I see what it's like. I see okay, I got to put the caption here. Oh, there's the thumbnail part. Oh, okay. The hashtags or whatever right there. And then, okay. And then, I schedule it right here. And then by doing that, it like eliminated that fear, that overthinking of like what it takes to post a YouTube video.
Yes.
And then ever since then, that's when like I launched it. So
Yeah, sometimes you start before you need to start. Like people, they put a lot of thought into it and they want to prep it up, and it's like, just do it. Just throw it out there.
send it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to be like, hey, Nick, I started my YouTube channel. Take a look. And you're going to be like, yeah, you finally did it.
That's it. But I think if you do have that amazing culture, well, you do have that amazing culture, and you just need somebody there to just record it and then post it.
Yes.
I think that it's YouTube's just evergreen, so it
is
growing,
I love
and
that.
people find you and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome. Okay, so you can go if you can go back to your 18-year-old self. What's one piece of advice you would give Chelsea?
Ooh, let's see. Young Chelsea. I would just say, you know what? Just do whatever makes you happy and just follow that. Because at the end of the day, that's all we're striving for, right? Is just to be happy and do good, you know? Dance makes me happy, and like being around people is like, I could do that for days, you know? And my mom always tells me, just be yourself. Just be yourself. We actually have it written in our studio. And anytime I'm like feeling nervous or like you don't know if you're good enough or any of that, it's just like, just be yourself. And it'll all play out the way it needs to play out.
I like that. I love that.
Yeah.
I guess what's been your biggest failure, and what did you learn from that?
My biggest failure. Gosh, I fail so much. I feel like as entrepreneurs, you have to fail, right, to succeed. It's not really a failure. I don't really like the word failure because you learn from. They're actually lessons, you know. But I would say like how much I worked in the beginning was like totally unnecessary. Because I was there like day and night, and I remember feeling like so miserable, and I was like, I am a slave to my dream. Like I remember feeling that, and that makes me sad to even think that I was like thinking like that, because I love my job and I love my business. And I was thinking like, oh, why did I do this? I'm a slave to my dream. And I'm like, I did not have to do that. I could have got a manager sooner. And like,
How long did it take to get a manager?
I had to have a child. I had to have a full-on child.
How many years was that
manager.
after?
Let's see. My firstborn was in 2021.
Okay, so 4 years later.
Yeah.
Is it 4 years? Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years later, and then COVID. But yeah, so like in 2020
Makes
is like
sense.
when I started like training somebody to be a manager. But I would say like I wish I could have changed that.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. Actually, before, we're going to wrap up here. I got just 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Talk about the transition of motherhood and how that, you said something before we got on air, which was, whenever your kids are asleep now, it's like, this is my time. And that now you value that time where, the kids are asleep or whatnot. And you get so much more done in that time. And you alluded to something where you can't believe how much time you wasted prior. I guess just talk about that. Talk about motherhood and entrepreneurship, and for any moms out there that are maybe in that same boat or aspiring, how they can operate.
I mean, nobody can prepare you for it, honestly. Like, it doesn't matter, like, if you are like, I'm prepping for this, nothing can prepare you, because once that child comes in, like, they are their own being. You don't know how behaved they're going to be, or you don't know how temperamental they're going to be. And even like my mom, if I were to go to her with advice, she wasn't a business owner and a mom. So that was like hard for me. Like, I'm like, did anyone else do this? So I think that's like one of my biggest struggles is like, I don't really know anyone else that's done this before. But luckily with social media, I get all the advice that I need.
That's so funny.
I think like mothers and social media are like, that's like what I like to look at.
This is my moment.
Yes, but it's so important because I think as a mom, you just want to be heard, or you want to feel like seen, like somebody else has done this, and you don't want to be alone. And I think like a lot of the moms that do post, like, that's fantastic. I personally don't post much, and maybe I should, because there could be like another person like, oh, has anyone been a business owner and a mom? But yeah, I think that you just have to take it day by day. With my first child, I was able to take 3 months off of like not going to the studio at all. Like, I literally was at home and all that stuff. This second child, unfortunately, one of my managers, her mom passed away. And so I was working like 1 month after giving birth. Like, I was in it because, I mean, you can't plan for those things. I didn't have another manager trained. And, so yeah, and it just depends on where you are in life. So I think you just have to take it day by day and delegate and like tell people what you're going through so they can help you. Because I'm very fortunate. I have a lot of family in town. So if people need to watch my kids for a few hours so I can like jump on a call or go to a meeting or anything like that, I do have a lot of help. So I'm very fortunate for that because, you want to make sure your children are looked after. Yeah. And you don't want to just like, it's hard to trust people once you have kids because they're your babies, So I'm very, very fortunate that I have a lot of help here. But yeah, for any mom that's wanting, you can do it. It's possible. Like, it's overwhelming and it's not for everybody. But it's possible, especially if you have the village to support you.
Yeah. So I think it's so funny because my wife says that she's never gotten this much engagement by posting polls on like mother related things. And I'm like, well, you're fishing in a big pond.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And so there's so many moms out there. And so it's very relatable.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of I'm telling you, like, I breastfeed. So I'm like breastfeeding my child. I'm on my phone. Like, and I just imagine like all the other moms that are like in that position. Yeah. Like, well, we can't go anywhere right now. So we might as well be on Instagram or we might as well be on TikTok. So they're there and they're, if you post like great content, like they're going to follow you because they're in that routine. Believe it or like, I live every 3 hours at a time. This is going to be your life soon. You live 3 hours at a time. So it's like you eat, sleep, and then you change them, and then like it happens again in 3 hours. You know, like
Up
most of the
until
days.
what age?
I'm still in it. So my little one is 6 months old.
Oh, okay.
And he still eats like every 2 to 3 hours. He's such a chunky boy. But yeah, it's like you have like 3 hours and then it starts all over again. So it's so much fun. But you do, when you need to be productive, you will. Like if I tell my husband, I'm like, okay, I have to get this done. And I'm like, it's nap time. Like it's go time. Like, I'm going to do this. But then it's not always like that. You know, like, if you're exhausted, I'm like, I'm just going to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch something. Or I'm just going to scroll. You know, and that nap time, you're just like, I'm just going to not do anything.
Yeah.
So it changes depending on what I need to do.
Oh, man. I could ask you a lot of questions about that. Would love to know your husband's dynamic, too, with being a father and how that's going to, you know, impact my life soon. But
oh, yes. It'll never be the same, and it's okay.
Yeah, but that can go a whole nother hour. So,
Yes.
Well, Chelsea, we'll wrap up here. I just got one last question for you. But before I do, just want to acknowledge you. Thank you for sharing your time, sharing your story, and sharing this space. I love the Just Be You. I think that's something that sticks out to me after this conversation, especially when you're nervous or whenever you got a lot going on. You just, let me just be me. So I love that. The last question I have for you is the definition of A1 is of the highest standards, of the highest quality. So I just want to know, what are 3 standards that you live your life by?
Oh, boy. You really got me off. Let's see here. My 3 standards. I mean, I'm just going to go back to... just be yourself, and I guess that's kind of like integrity as well, right? Like you want to make sure that you're living to the standards that you would want others, what you want to be treated as, you would do for others. And do it with love. People feel that. And I'm such an energy and like woo-woo person, so if you ever want to talk like spirituality, that's like another thing. But I feel it. So if somebody is like not giving me the love, I'm like, am I wasting my time right now? So do it with love, and, always have a goal to strive after. In this lifetime, we're always changing, and sometimes we hit those walls, and it's kind of like, oh, it's because I don't know where I'm going. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So taking the time to reflect of where you are and like where you want to go, that should happen like more often than you think. Because that can answer a lot of questions for you, especially if you're kind of like feeling unmotivated. Kind of setting those boundaries for yourself and giving you a goal is always a great thing to have.
Yeah, I love it. Well, if you wanted people to find you, how can people connect with you? Whether that's through your dance studios page or your personal page, how can they connect with you?
So my personal page
or how do you want them to connect with you?
Yeah, my personal page is Chelsea the Curator. Love to curate things. And then my business is Millennium Dance LV. You may see my face on that social media platform every now and then. I barely post on my personal one just because I'm so busy with kiddos. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. And then if you're in Las Vegas or if you're visiting Las Vegas, stop on by her studio. I'm pretty sure you'll have an epic experience. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.